I get it when you're scrolling through endless office chair listings. The biggest fear is ending up with a seat that looks sleek but leaves you sore after a few hours, or that costs a small fortune and still doesn't keep your back from digging in. You're probably thinking, do I really need that high-end ergonomic chair, or can I get by with something cheaper? And you don't want to waste money on the wrong thing, especially when you'll be spending most of your day in it. That's the exact dilemma I faced before I started digging into the Humanscale Freedom Office Chair. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of work environment where the Freedom really shines. Imagine a home office with a solid desk, a decent monitor rig, and you've got a decent amount of floor space, maybe a hardwood or laminate floor rather than carpet. You're the type of person who moves between tasks, writing emails, joining video calls, sketching ideas, and occasionally leaning back to think. In that scenario, the Freedom's weight-sensing recline mechanism does something you don't see on most mid-range chairs. It lets you tilt back without hitting a hard stop, and the pivoting backrest follows the natural arc of your spine as you shift. I tried it for a couple of hours straight while editing a video and then again while drafting a long report. The chair adjusted itself so that my eyes stayed roughly level with the monitor, which helped reduce the neck strain I'm used to feeling after long screen sessions. Now, who should definitely consider this chair? If you spend more than 3 to 4 hours a day at a desk and you've already tried a few budget ergonomic chairs that either flatten out or feel too stiff, the Freedom is a logical next step. Its contoured cushions are molded to fit a range of body shapes, and because they're made from a medium gray Corde fabric, they offer a bit of give that keeps you from sliding forward as you type. The standard height adjustable Duron arms are a nice touch if you like to keep your forearms level while you write or mouse click. They stay in place without wobbling, which is something you'll notice if you're the kind of person who moves your arms a lot while you talk on the phone. Also, if you have hard flooring, the optional soft casters are designed to glide without scratching the surface, something many reviewers forget until they hear that unwanted squeak in the morning. On the flip side, there are a few practical trade-offs that might make you think twice. The Freedom isn't a plug-and-play chair you can pop into any cheap office setup and forget about. Its weight-sensing recline relies on a spring that needs a bit of personal calibration. If you're not used to adjusting the tension, the chair can feel either too loose, allowing you to swing too far back, or too stiff, limiting the smoothness of the recline. It takes a short learning curve, but once you find the sweet spot, the movement feels natural. Another point to consider is the price. This chair sits in a high-end market, so if you're on a tight budget or you only need a chair for occasional use, say, a part-time home office stint or a guest room workstation, it might be overkill. You'll also notice that the Freedom's design leans heavily into aesthetic minimalism. There are no flashy lumbar adjust knobs or memory foam layers you can swap out. If you love tinkering with your chair or swapping out cushions for a custom feel, you'll find fewer customization options here than on some modular brands. Let's break down the everyday strengths you'll actually feel. The responsive backrest isn't just a marketing term, it genuinely reacts to the weight shift as you lean forward or back. In my experience, this meant that when I leaned forward to type fast, the backrest tilted just enough to give my lumbar region support without crushing it. When I reclined during a brainstorming session, the chair kept my hips aligned with the seat, so I didn't feel a sudden drop that forces you to readjust your posture. The contoured cushions also stay cool longer than typical mesh seats. The fabric isn't a sweaty net, so even after a marathon meeting you don't have that sticky feeling. This is especially true on warm days when a typical fabric chair can become uncomfortably hot. Now, the practical weaknesses you should keep in mind. Because the Freedom uses a sophisticated pivot mechanism, the base is a little heavier than a standard office chair. If you have a small office or you need to move the chair around frequently, say, from a desk to a conference table, you might find it slightly cumbersome to lift. Also, the armrests, while adjustable in height, have a fixed horizontal position. If you have an unusually wide shoulder span, the arms may feel a bit too close, and you'll need to rely on the chair's back support more than the arms. Finally, the optional soft casters are great for hardwood, but